Hi everyone! Warm welcome to my channel where I review items that I find beautiful and useful. And today on this beautiful day I would like to share with you something very practical, and that is about how to tie a twilly on your handbag handle, especially if you are wearing top handle bags often and you want to protect the top handle, or perhaps just to spice up the handbag a little bit, add a touch of color, give it a little bit of a fun vibe. And today's video will be featuring one of my absolute favorite handbags, the Valextra Iside Mini, as well as a matching twilly that I have from Givenchy, which is in silk and it's 120 centimeters long. I would recommend to use a twilly that is approximately 1 meter, 1 meter and 20 for your top handle. And of course, some handbags have one top handle, some have two, so it's up to you to decide on what handbag and how many handles do you want to wrap. But in this case, I will be wrapping around one handle, so you can pick your twilly and handbag and try to follow along. I will be sharing 5 ways, and in the menu of this video, you have a possibility to jump into the chapter where a particular style is covered if you are interested just in some of them. Okay, so let's get going. And the first one that I want to share with you will be a full coverage of the top handle with loose ends on both sides.
Okay, so take your twilly and then fold it into equally long parts. And then starting from the top of the handle, start wrapping to one side. And another. And then of course it's up to you to decide how much of the material do you want to leave hanging. So I personally like when there isn't too much. And then you just take the end, pull it through, making like a loop, and fasten. Well, this is actually a bit too much of the material for my liking, so I will wrap one extra round. So something like that. And the other side. Voila, so that's the first version. And as you can see, this side I've wrapped a little bit firmer than this one, so it looks better here than here when it's a little bit loose.
And the second one that I want to share is the full coverage of the top handle with a nice bow on one side.
For this version, fold your twilly in a way that one side will be approximately 1/3 longer than the other. And then the shorter side you leave more or less like that, and the longer side you fold firmly all around the handle. So I have a small loop there, so I'm pulling the twilly through it to fasten a little bit, and then we tie it. Like that. I think it looks really cute.
So cute. Let's now try out half-covered handle with a ribbon. It will be very similar to the full coverage, just that we will be covering half of the handle.
Now this one will be very similar. You also fold your twilly in a way that one part is approximately 1/3 longer than the other. The only difference compared to the previous method is that now, instead of starting here, we are gonna start from the middle. One side like that, and the other, the longer side, we are folding from the middle towards the right side to cover the handle, but only half of it. Let me adjust now, it's a bit more than half, so like that. I will do more wrapping rounds and closer to one another compared to when I was wrapping around the full handle. But of course, if you don't want to wrap so many times, you can simply choose a shorter twilly. And now when the length of remaining twilly is more or less the same on both sides, we pull the twilly through the loop in the handle, like that. And from remaining material, and it looks like that. Depending on what proportions you prefer, you can form in a way that looks best to you. Yes, but something like that. Also cute. It shows both the beautiful handle and a small detail here.
Okay, and the fourth one is just tying a nice ribbon on one of the sides of the handle.
Now, when it comes to a simple bow, there are several versions how to tie it. Now, this twilly is very long, so of course I could do just a simple like that. Hold, wrap around. And here's a perfect bow, but it's huge, right? I will adjust a bit, but still it's gonna be a really big with long loose ends, right? So it doesn't really look that great, but maybe you have a shorter twilly and then it would look much nicer. However, there is another option, what you can do if you want to use a twilly that is rather long. And here's what I do then. I fold the twilly in half, and then I am tying it around the handle so that the folded part is on the right. I tie it more or less in the same way as I did previously. And then I'm making using exactly same logic as previously. So you see the key difference here is that the ribbon looks way more chic this way. This small part, if you want, you can hide in the loop of your handle so it's not visible, or you can just leave it hanging. I mean, it doesn't really make the outcome any worse if it stays there. So, how do you like that?
Simple but nice. Okay, so this version was more to decorate the handbag, not to like cover the top handle, right? And I have one more version that is quite similar but results in a rose on one of the sides of the handle. So let's jump into that.
Now, for making a flower, I would generally not recommend the silk twilly because it won't hold that much. The silk is really smooth and it easily slips away. So you may consider something like a cotton twill for making a flower. However, I will show you how to do it using the same twilly as all other versions. So first we take one end and pull it through the loop in the handle. So this is the first step, to have a so-called leaf on one side. Then I usually fasten the twill by making a loop here on the handle. Okay, and from here, what you have to do is this. Until you see that it starts kind of coiling on itself, like that. And then it means the flower starts to form. And then at the end we do a loop here to fasten the flower and to create the second leaf as well. So here it is. You can of course adjust the leaves as you want. Maybe you want them a little bit smaller or larger. Maybe you want them to point to different sides. It's up to you. But here we have it, a tiny rose on the handle.
Okay, I hope this was useful. If it was, don't forget to click like and share, comment which version was your favorite. And if you like this kind of content, then you're welcome to become a subscriber. And enjoy your day. Bye for now.